I hear that the West Coast is the best coast. Is that true? Well, you can ask Erin and Nicole from their irreverent and vulgar podcast, Dude, That's Fucked Up, which I'm all about because seriously, dudes, there's so much fucked up shit going on. These are some sassy and hysterical friends that sometimes are gross, but that's okay because there's a little bit for everyone in their podcasts. But we're closing International Friendship Day /week with these saucy, witty, smart friends who were clearly meant to be friends. They got a lot of funny things to say. They got a lot of smart things to say, and they got a lot of friendship to discuss. So please have a listen to Erin and Nicole, and then check out Dude, That's Fucked Up.
We're going to talk about our friendship for Alysa's podcast.
Yeah, we are part of like a cool little like collective of or like on Facebook with a cool group of ladies. It's like the what is it? The lady what's it called?
The Lady Pod Squad.
Lady Pod Squad.
But I like to call us Podcast Hers.
Podcast Hers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Alysa put out a call to like fellow podcast Hers.
Yeah.
And we answered the call, and we are going to chat about our friendship.
Yeah.
For the podcast.
I love it. Yeah. She was looking specifically for podcasters that are best friends that have a podcast together. And we meet all the criteria. Best friends, podcast together.
Yep.
There's only two things, but we checked both boxes.
Yeah. So our podcast is called, and sorry for the language, but our podcast is called Dude, That's Fucked Up. Mm-hmm. If you haven't heard of us before, we talk about anything and everything that might be effed up in this world. Mm-hmm. We try to keep it not depressing because there's too much other stuff that's depressing these days. So we keep it light. It is a comedy podcast, so it's pretty irreverent and vulgar. So sorry about that, but there's something for everybody.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, that took a while to figure out. Like, I was like, oh, I hope people like it. And then I'm like, it's not for everyone, and that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, also, my name is Erin.
Oh, I'm Nicole. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, we should have said that at the top. But my name is Erin, and Nicole is my best friend, and we do the podcast. We do this podcast together that is very gross, but really, really fun. So, I mean, our topics range from like I said, there's something for everybody. We just did an episode about Botox and the history and origin of Botox and how a super poisonous substance became a cosmetic, which is kind of crazy.
That I'm considering strongly.
Yeah. I mean, do whatever you want. Live your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we chat about gross stuff. I mean, we've talked about cults. We've talked about crazy kidnappings. We've talked about cryptids like Bigfoot, which we are very skeptical about. Yeah. So we try to keep the facts in the stories, and we like science. Even though we're not like particularly, we're not scientists by any means.
We're not particularly scientists or scientists at all.
No, nor are we doctors or any other type of professional that knows what they're talking about.
We have college degrees in the liberal arts range of things.
I mean, if I would have pursued my degree a bit more, which is anthropology.
Yeah.
I could have been something.
Yeah.
But
Listen,
I didn't.
I could have gotten a doctorate in English as well. It's fine. We didn't. And
no. And now we have a comedy podcast. Yeah. So you tell me who won.
But we just are approaching, or maybe by the time this is out, just have approached our 50th episode. And we've done one a week for almost an entire year. And we're very proud of that.
Yes.
And it's been really fun. And it's more, and I use air quotes around this, it's more work than I thought it would be behind the scenes. But recording's always a treat, and it's the easy part.
Yeah, I mean, well, we DIY'd everything here.
Yeah.
We like figured everything out on our own. And
continue to.
Yeah. So it's been an adventure, and it's been super fun. So, but we decided to do the podcast together, kind of just randomly. It's coming up on a year here now that we like got it all together. We'd brainstormed for a while about what we wanted to do. And I think I don't consider myself a particularly creative person. But now that I think about it, and looking at some of the garbage that's out in the world, I have to say,
you're a creator.
I'm a creative.
Yeah.
A creator.
Yeah. A create her.
But I feel like Nicole's always been pretty creative. So I you've always been a wonderful writer. I was always told in school I was a good writer, but I don't. It's too hard for me. So I think too much about it. So I prefer to just let things come to me, I guess.
Yeah. I think well, I don't think I ever thought of myself as a creative person. I just have like a passion for comedy, and I've dabbled in those types of things a little bit more than you have.
Yeah.
Trying to see what I like, and so, but this has been such a fun thing because I don't think I would have ever done some of the other things that I've been doing if we hadn't started this podcast, because I just feel so supported, and I share like a lot of things that I'm working on with you, like projects and stuff, and I'll send it to you and get your feedback and stuff. And it's nice because a lot of the stuff I do other things on my own, but this was like the catalyst for it because it feels like such a safe space.
Yeah, for sure. I think having somebody to do this with, like having a partner in you, has made it. I would have always wanted to do something like this. Like but I wouldn't have done it just on my own. I guess. I think I'm a pretty passive person, and you're very you're definitely proactive about what you want and what you do. And I mean, I in many regards of my life, I am too. But when it comes to something that's very personal and that you're creating yourself, it's kind of scary to just do it on your own. So I think I'll always be one of those people that needs a little push from somebody else, I guess. So I'm so glad I have you.
I'm so glad I have you. I'm feeling somewhat emotional because I watched the This Is Us finale earlier. So all of my emotions are at the surface level. So I'm trying to not let them out.
Oh, okay.
Which is
all
bad.
Right. You're a little raw right now.
Yeah, I'm a little raw, but no, it's really nice. And we've talked about this a little bit here and there. On our podcast, yeah. But it's just so nice because there's also something, I think what we have that's the most special is our friendship in our podcast. Like, it's really hard to replicate that sort of thing, and I think there are people who are friends that start podcasts, but maybe they don't have as long of a history that we have. We've been friends since middle school, so
yeah, and we're in our almost mid-30s now, so
getting real close to that.
Yeah, we're at a midpoint in our 30s.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
Let's just say we're at a point in our 30s. There's no need to specify.
Yeah. Sure. No, I'm proud of being 34.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. We have a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
Together. Going through very awkward stages in life together has been a great equalizer. Built a lot of character for each of us.
Yeah.
Together. And then, and going through high school, and I would say too, we live far away from each other now. We grew up in a small town in Southern California. We met, like you said, in middle school. I think it was 8th grade.
Yeah.
were buds, and our friendship, I would say we both had like our core friends. And you definitely became one of my quote unquote best friends, like as girls do, really as young, teenagers do. And through puberty, you have your best friends, and then you have your other best friends, and you have, you go through these like weird phases. And I think through like high school, like we drifted apart, came back together, but we always had like this common I guess like we always had the same sense of humor.
Yeah, I was gonna say like our sensibilities are very similar.
Yeah, we're both very like very open-minded people. Like share a lot of the same values and
yeah,
I guess morals, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
I don't think some other people would, but
I was gonna say F those people, but then I was like, ooh, we're trying to be trying to keep PG-13.
Yeah. I think you could drop like one F-bomb per PG-13 movie.
Well, we already did that with our name of our podcast, so let's save it for that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think it was nice because we in high school we were on the drill team together, which was fun, and then maybe we had different kind of like extracurricular things, and we kind of met different groups of people, and maybe they were more of our like everyday friends, I guess. But then we would float back together during certain times of the year and certain things. But I think we really like settled into our friendship in college.
Yeah,
because we went to the same community, maybe senior year into college.
Yeah. I think you're starting to become a more mature person and figure yourself out. And, and you realize like, okay, I associate with this person and this person and this person, but you come back to your people who make you feel good and that you have the most fun with. And I always had the most fun with you.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think you also realize who good people are. Like, there's so many, you're trying to figure out who you are, and we both had friends that we no longer talk to, and just like they were interesting people for us to when we were in high school, and I thought, oh wow, these people are interesting, and like I want to be like them, and then I realized, oh, they're not good people, and you kind of realize, oh,
or you just grow out of them, and not necessarily that they're like bad people or anything.
Some
but
of
it's
them
like,
were bad people. It's fine.
Well,
we don't. I don't care. They were. I'll tell them to their face.
But yeah, it's like you no, it's true. You just like figure out. You get your sensibilities and you mature.
And you figure out the type of person you want to be, I guess is what I'm saying. Maybe they're not horrible people, but they're not into the things you're into, or they don't live their life the way you want to live your life. And so you gravitate towards people that do want to do that. And I think both of us, in a time where I didn't really know what it was to be a feminist or understand that it was important for women to stick up for themselves and make their own choices, we gravitated towards each other because I think we're both very strong-willed. We come from families that really support us as people, and I don't think is your cat pooping?
Yeah, sorry. So annoying. Oh my God. The room that I do the podcast from is also the cat bathroom, so every now and then there's a little background scuffling.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, I mean,
I don't know. Our families are always like, we're always very, supportive and like gave us the kind of like foundation for like being chill people, cool. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm like a cool person, but like
you are, and I am too, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I don't know. It's just that was a good foundation growing up. Yeah. Good, solid, like fun families. Your parents are fun. My parents are fun. So we've always had this like kind of chill sensibility too. Yeah. So like through middle school, through high school, and then through college, I think is when we started to really like be more comfortable with ourselves and each other. And then you went away to college. You went across the country to Syracuse, and I did the rest of my schooling in California. But we still, and like that was the point in time where, you know, a lot of people who are, I think, close friends can drift apart and come back together, and it's like no time has passed.
Yeah.
Like that's absolutely a real thing. I think we're both like we're able to, and we're mature enough to like know like this is always going to be my friend. Like we're very much kindred spirits, and we're always like gonna share a sensibility that is gonna keep us together to some degree.
Yeah.
So even if you're far apart, and you know, and I'm the kind of person too, like I don't need to talk to, you know, people every single day to know that I love them, and or know that they love me, I guess.
Same.
And some people do need that. That's part of their like, you know, love languages or whatever. Yeah. So
well, those friendships are hard for me because I am not that type of person, and it's hard for me to give like, we've actually like thinking about it. Yeah, we've kind of like ebb and flowed even until we started this podcast. We didn't talk so frequently, you know, like we'd see each other a couple times a year or whatever. Like, I don't know. It wasn't, but it always is so comfortable and feels so nice.
Yeah.
Like, and then
it's
really
easy.
And it's easy. And it's like, it doesn't feel like time has passed. And, you know, we check in and, oh, what's new? But this podcast has been nice because it's like pushed us together, and we like get to it feels like old times, because you also glossed over the part getting to college. We worked together. We were assistant managers in a retail store. That was a blast. That was like maybe the best year ever.
It was terrible, but also like the best, because working in retail is the worst, but it like dealing with customers and just the general public.
Just think of like how much we laughed that year. Like,
I know.
So everything was funny. Every snickering in the back about customers and just like being so over it all the time, and just oh, it was so much fun.
It was really it made a terrible job very bearable. Not that it was terrible. Like retail is but it was great. I mean, like
time suck.
Well, we grew up also in like a like resort town, so it's just like you get some of just the worst people.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Lots
they
of
don't
tourists,
care.
and they just, you know. So anyway, but that's true. That was a very like all these things we went together. Like they're all very formative things. So it really solidified, you know, the fact that we were. Like, yes, you are my friend. Yeah. You are a person I can go to about literally anything, especially if it's funny. And you'll appreciate what I'm finding ridiculous or funny. Yeah. And I can vent to you, because not only are you like very funny, very fun to be around, you also like have a great sensibility that is very grounding and very just you're very intelligent. I don't think you could be super funny and not be intelligent. You know, like you it goes hand in hand. So you're like, it's not all laughing hysterically all the time. Like we which it usually does devolve to some degree eventually. But like we have very serious conversations about life stuff, and we're able to like, you know, have these conversations that are very meaningful and valuable. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think all the same things about you. Also, you're, you know, I'm always saying, especially like right now in the climate of the world, I'm like, oh, you know, everybody's learning all the time. Like, I feel like I'm never not learning. And I feel like I look to you for a lot of those things, because you're very intelligent, and you are very eclectic in all the things you're interested in, and you read so much about everything, and you involve yourself in like lots of different groups of people and things like that. And I always feel comfortable, you know, asking you is this okay? Especially about humor things, because, you know, it's a hard, things are shifting, and it's really scary, I think, to be a funny person. I don't know, a comedian or and write about things that you're feeling and things you want to be honest about, because sometimes it's not, people are moving beyond that. I don't know how to explain it, I guess, but just like making sure you're being inclusive of people and not being exclusive or derogatory and stuff like that. I feel like I mean, things aren't moving that fast. I can figure out most of it, but but
it's good that you're like, I don't know. I think when you do comedy or when you do anything like a podcast, like where you're putting yourself out there, like in any way, you're exposing a part of your personality or a part of your like history of a person and what makes you you and your everything that you know about, which most of the time it's not that much, but no, I'm just kidding. We're like we're trying. Everybody's trying their best and everybody's learning, but it's like helpful to be able to like bounce ideas off each other and like do it in a very safe way. And like the nice thing about having a podcast is that you can edit it. So if we ever do really mess up, we're like, oh shit, we shouldn't have said that. So it's kind of, it's helpful.
Yeah, it's good. Well, we have, also, this is one of my favorite things about you as my best friend. We can have disagreements and it doesn't change the way I feel about you, or hopefully the way you feel about me. It's like, that just is how it is. Not everybody's going to agree on everything. And I wouldn't want you to be someone who's exactly like me, because how would I grow and evolve as a person? Yeah. So we've had disagreements on things that I've said where Erin's like, if that was me, I'd edit it out. And I'm like, but it's me and I think it's funny. And then usually she wins, because it's like, because I'm like, oh yeah, maybe it's bad. But no. Usually I share it with a few other people first. I'm like, what do you guys think of this? Like mid coworkers, and they're like, no, that's funny. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna edit it out, but I'm glad you think it's funny.
I think I'm like way more like sensitive sometimes. Yeah. Hold on, let me just wait for this like cat box to finish cycling. It's like a robot cat box, so it's like super loud. It's distracting. Okay. All right, it's done.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so I think we've run through, let's see, the questions were our friendship origin story. How did we meet? How did we become friends? I don't remember exactly, but it was like middle school. So that was like about 20 years ago. So I can't quite recall.
I think we met at a friend's house at like a sleepover or something.
Yeah.
Or birthday party or whatever.
We should talk a little bit more about how we came to podcast together, maybe. Okay. We came to podcast together and focus on like weird stuff because, like I said, we like share some of the same like sensibilities, sense of humor, all that. We think gross stuff is super interesting, and there are a lot of true crime podcasts out there these days, and we like listen to all of them, but like we like appreciate all of them, but like that's like a very maybe I shouldn't say this, but it's a pretty saturated area right now. I
think it's okay to say that. I think we saw that coming too. I mean, we didn't want to be held to one genre. We like to talk about lots of different things. And I think we wanted a podcast that could allow for that. So if something interesting came up, we could figure out an angle to like include it. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So I would say like I was certainly inspired by like many true crime podcasts that I'd already been listening to. I was always a huge content devourer, and I love I have always loved podcasts for a very long time. Before I like podcasts before they were cool. Oh my God, you guys. Influencer right here.
Well, I started listening to podcasts like when a lot of people did, probably like before or right around the time that Serial came out and like exploded everything. Yeah. But from then on, I like consumed. I love storytelling podcasts. I love all that.
Well, and I wasn't listening to podcasts, but you were listening to My Favorite Murder, and then you were like, "Have you listened to this?" I was like, "No, I'll check it out." And then I got super into it too.
Yeah. And so it started to germinate a little bit in my mind, and maybe yours too. I don't know. I had just gone through like a pretty like extensive surgery, and I was not able to like go back to work for several months. Like I had like, this long recovery process, and it was I was feeling very down and needed like an outlet for something. And all the while during my recovery, I'd been listening to podcasts. And so I was like, I had been journaling also, like, just like, just flow, like whatever, like, what am I trying to say? I don't know.
Like free writing or
free writing, just writing a lot, getting my thoughts down on paper, and just stream of consciousness writing. And one day I just like wrote about like, it like dawned on me and clicked in my brain that like it'd be awesome to have a podcast, like to do a podcast. And I was like, I would love to do a podcast with someone, not just myself. Like it'd be fun to have like a partner in this. So I wrote those thoughts down. Literally like a month later, Nicole, you like came to me, I think, and we're like, we should start a podcast. And I was like, what? That is exactly what has been percolating in my brain for the past several weeks, months, whatever.
Yeah.
So
it was pretty out of the blue, I feel like, too.
Yeah. It was like very kismet, very like, I don't know. It was just meant to be, I think.
Yeah.
And since then, it was like I said, we brainstormed, we figured out what we wanted to, focus or not focus on, I should say. And just kind of had this idea to just be as weird as we possibly could. And so I don't know, that's how it came together.
Yeah.
Kind of, and very DIY, very, very fun. And we're still having a blast.
Yep.
Still loving it.
I think too, like, yeah, it was like, let's do this thing. Okay. What do we need? Like, I think Pete helped research the microphones, and we just ordered them, and we're like, we're just going to do it. And then we picked a topic and we just recorded one. Like it wasn't, I feel like we had a lot of, the first few episodes of the podcast are us trying to figure out the format a little bit.
Yeah.
And we've really like learned as we go along. I know a lot of podcasts maybe have like a proof of concept before they release it, or we didn't. We were just like, let's just do it. What, like, we'll figure it out as we go. And a lot of our friends and family were really supportive and listening in the beginning. I don't know if they still do, but it doesn't matter because other people that we don't know listen, and it's great. Yeah, and it's so fun.
Yeah, and it was it dawned on us like immediately. And I think at the same time that we just like didn't need permission from anybody. Yeah. I think that was something that had always held me back personally, is just, and maybe why like I said at the top, why I don't consider myself a creative person is because I just assume that the people that are creating things have it all figured out already. Yeah. And that is not true. I've learned that along the way. And just in observing and reading about people who are creators, that it's okay to just have an idea and just execute on it. And if it doesn't work out, like, that's okay. But if you want to do it and you want to pursue something, you absolutely can. So I don't know. It sounds like pretty cliche to say all these things after being so like down on myself for a while about, or not down on myself, but just like not believing that was a thing that I was allowed to do, quote unquote. I don't know.
But
so
I think, I still run into that every day on things. It's just something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something that we have. But yeah, it is a good exercise. Like, hopefully it continues to like keep us open as people who create something and leads us to other opportunities to create more things.
Yeah. I think just doing something and going for it like really opens the door, and like saying yes to stuff that you don't think that you can do or are able to do is what'll create opportunities. So
I know. Erin speaking on a panel
I'm speaking on a podcast panel soon.
Oh my God.
Which is...
I'm so proud of you.
That's crazy.
That's so scary to me, but also, like, we're talking about...
Whatever. You're doing stand-up. Like, you're doing, like, actual comedy.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I feel like that's amazing. I don't know.
That feels different to me because it's like, I don't know. I don't know. But it's going to be great. I'm so excited. And, yeah, I just was like, whoa, it comes back to that permission thing. I would feel like, oh, what if I don't know the answers or whatever? But it's like, no, we've been doing this for a year. Like, we know what we're talking about and we can answer questions about our own thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm just so excited. It's going to be so cool. And like, what a fun experience for you.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not like it's like that big of a deal. I mean, I don't have any expectations about it. So I'm just keeping.
But you said yes, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the first step, is just like identifying what it is that you really want to do, and just like not having to, I guess, ask for permission.
Yeah.
I hate that saying. It's better to beg forgiveness than to ask for permission. Which implies that you're like
steamrolling people to like
steamrolling people, or like seriously breaking like some sort of code of ethics or rules. And that's not my personality. I do understand that that's like not what that saying is, but I just take out the forgiveness part, because there's nobody to ask for anything when you do something on your own like this. Like, as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're, you know, being mindful and you're being original as you can.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. So
I have a friend, this is like somewhat related, but she has made a promise to herself that if there's an opportunity and it costs less than $5, she has to do it. So like, if someone asks her on a coffee date, or like, you know, there's things that if it costs less than $5 and it's not harmful, she has to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's like taken meetings and like made new friends and like done cool things, that, you know, done open mics and all these things. And it's like, oh wow, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it reminded me.
It sounds like
the
premise of a movie.
Yeah. Well, it's like Yes Man with Jim Carrey.
Except like I fully believe in like taking care of yourself, and you're like, say yes as much as possible, but also don't be afraid to say no. Like,
don't overdo it. It's exhausting.
Yeah, don't overdo it. It's exhausting. Yeah. And like at the end of the day, you are the person that is number one.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Yeah.
Besides like your friends and family. Like you gotta put your oxygen mask on first. So.
I was gonna say, like, unless it's in this friendship, I'm number one and Erin's number two. I'm just kidding.
Same. I'm number one, you're number two. No.
Right, that's why it works.
Yeah, it's great. We both hold each other and ourselves in high regard.
Yeah.
So. And in case you guys didn't know, I do not think this highly of myself. I'm just kidding.
I'm not.
I
hate
myself. No. It's Nicole that makes me hate myself a little less every day.
I thought you were going to say more.
Never. And you know, that's what friends are for.
It's because you see yourself the way I see you, like a total effing idiot. No. Like a weirdo.
Yeah, we're two fellow weirdos that have been buds since we were young children.
We lads. Also, lassies.
Lasses. Lassies.
But also, I feel like we're closeted weirdos in a way, because I feel like some of the stuff we're comfortable talking about on the podcast, I would never talk about with other people.
I don't care. I do not look like a person who would talk about half the things that we talk about together on our podcast. So if you're interested in that, our podcast is easily found on our website, which is dtfupodcast.com. Mm-hmm. And we're on social media at DTFU Podcast everywhere. So check it out.
Yeah.
We had a great time doing this, and really appreciate the opportunity to talk about each other and ourselves and our podcast. Thank you, Alyssa, for opening this up and giving us the chance to be on your show. I think that's all I wanted to say. I think I took some notes, but I didn't even look at them. I was going to my last notes were annoyed by the same things, and that's basically it. So that's how you keep and hold on to a great friendship.
Yeah, we have hot takes on the same things. We have strong feelings about the same things. But for the most part.
Yeah.
But we're different people, so it's not always
very
the case.
Different.
But
yeah.
All right.
Living on different coasts.
Yep, living different lives.
You're blonde with curly hair and brunette. Got straight hair.
Yeah.
Well, straightish hair.
We both have brown eyes.
Yep.
We both have a face.
We do.
We both have 2 eyebrows.
Mm-hmm. I have to pencil mine in to make sure that it looks like there's 2 because I overplucked them in the 90s, but you know. Yeah.
All right.
That's the friendship.
Yeah.
Of Erin and Nicole.
2 hosts of DTFU Podcast.
That's right. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
And thank you, Alyssa.
And be excellent, everyone.
Be excellent to each other.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So yes, there's International Friendship Day, there's Best Friends Day, there's even National Cheesecake Day, which relates to friends because of the Golden Girls, am I right? But the friend advocate and lover in me says there are 365 days a year, so what can we do the rest of the year to celebrate our friends, whether they're near or far? I enjoy traveling through different time zones to learn more about people's experiences with friendship and people's specific friendship origin stories like their Batman. And I look forward to so many more journeys in the future, whether I can be there physically to meet friends together or that we can Skype it up because we scheduled that date in our calendars. So thank you for coming on the journey with me, and be sure to tell me all about your stories of international friendships or suggestions for different places, cultures, and friends to chat with for the podcast by emailing me, Alysa, at bestforeverspod@gmail.com. Let me say that again. I'm telling you my name, which is Alysa, but my email is bestforeverspod@gmail.com. Until next time, if you'd like to hear more about my takes on these topics and these specific friendships, check out the bonus videos on Patreon for those who are $5 and up, friends with benefits. Looking forward to connecting with you this upcoming #Forever Friday. Until then, go be good to our friends, because without them, who would we be?